What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Real for Real podcast. I'm your favorite host, Trevor, joined as always by Isaiah, and back from podcast jail, we got Kevin. Kevin, have you learned your lesson?
I'm still going to put No Time to Die as number 3 for Craig. So,
okay.
I think Kevin has proof that maybe jail isn't good rehabilitation. It's not. It don't work.
Yeah.
He learned nothing from his time away.
No, I'm not budging on that, buddy.
Time to lock him back up. Maybe 2 strikes will help him out. He'll figure it out.
Yeah. And if you don't get your answer right at the end of this one, you're gonna get another strike.
Oh man, y'all can't do
today.
Me like that,
Today we're reviewing The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, written by Matt Reeves and Peter Craig. It's starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Jeffrey Wright, John Turturro, Peter Skarsgård, Andy Serkis, and Colin Farrell. Man, and all those people in that cast, and it was star-studded, and everybody with it was
the unrecognizable Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Yeah. I was staring at the screen. I'm like, dude, what? I still can't tell that's him. Like, that makeup is crazy, bro. Is that makeup, CGI? What is that?
It was makeup. He wore a fat suit, and I think he had some prosthetics on the face and everything. So he completely transformed even the character, like his mannerisms and all that. I mean, that's
everything.
Acting.
That's crazy.
He's supposed to have some mannerisms, but he was,
he was just.
So let's ask right now. So which one, Danny DeVito Penguin or this one? Which one?
This one. Oh, just because I like the take. I don't know if we can put that on Danny DeVito. You know, he's just doing what he was directed to do. But I like.
Well, it's 2 different styles. It's Tim Burton.
I'm about to say it fits the creepy world that Tim Burton sets up the way Danny does it, and Danny does a good job too. But I also kind of like the idea that in this one, the Penguin just seems like a reference to the fact that he's just fashionably dressed and not so much just the weird. His hands are.
Well, he's not eating fish. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
he's not biting people's noses and stuff like that.
This one just feels real. It feels like I could see somebody being called the Penguin who just happens to be this mobster who always is decked out in the tux most of the time, dressed.
Yeah. So which Selena Kyle we going with? We going with Michelle Pfeiffer or this one? Because I'm still gonna say Michelle Pfeiffer still. But this is still fire, bro.
I'm going with Zoe.
Zoe did a great job. Like, it's great, like, I mean, Halle Berry. Oh gosh. We're not even gonna talk about that.
That's your Catwoman.
No. We at the Real for Real love you, Halle. We do love you. But
appreciate the shout out, Halle, but that shit was trash.
That movie was bad. I'm sorry. But you look good in it. I'm gonna tell you that.
I mean, Halle Berry look good as a crackhead. Come on now, she good. She always gonna look good. That ain't the problem.
All right. I'm gonna get us back on track.
Go ahead, wrap it up. Let's go. Pull us back.
So Isaiah, what's your positives?
My positives. First, this movie just great, man. Like I just thought it was really good. But I have to say the first thing for me was the overall just tone of the movie. Like, it was shot. To me, it gave vibes of almost like a noir film, at times a suspense film, but even like had an element of feeling like it was shot like a horror movie. So I got to say that that's like the first positive. Its tone and its shooting style seemed very like they found a good way of setting it apart from other Batman material that we have out there. I think it feels just as fresh as almost like the Batman animated series did. You know what I'm saying? The way that it changed the way cartoons were looked at. There weren't even cartoons written and drawn in that type of style. And this is the way this film kind of did. It separated itself from plenty of others. So that was pretty legit to me. That's my first positive for sure. What y'all got?
Yeah.
So for me, man, just knowing kind of like where the adaptation came from, like the Long Halloween and Year One and Earth One, just them taking all of those elements and combining them to this film, and the film being 3 hours, which it's long. It's a healthy 3 hours, right? But to me, they did a good job of making it work for what they were trying to do. Matt Reeves, you could tell is a fan. Like he understands the Batman universe very well. He understands the characters very well. Yes. He is a fan, and I just, it's so good to just see fans create these films. And because when they're a fan, then you get a quality film. So I like that a lot about it. And also what Isaiah said, as far as like just the genre of this film, it's like a noir mystery thriller to me, right? Very suspenseful with the Riddler, like just a terrifying villain at the end of the day. And the Riddler feels real. Like he feels like somebody that would really like, he feels like a terrorist that could really do something like this, right? So it's grounded, it's suspenseful. I really don't think that kids are probably gonna, parents, y'all gonna have to think about this. If you got little ones, I've seen the Facebook and Instagram pics with your kids wearing the Batman shirt. We were talking about that last night, bro. Like after we saw the movie, I'm like, this is not gonna work. Like they're not gonna get it. It's very mature subject matter. Like Nolan films, they were pretty mature, right? But this one is on a different level to me. This one could have been R-rated, how mature it was. Surprised it wasn't. But I loved it, man. It was really good.
Yeah, I agree with all ththose statements.
Yeah. Like y'all said, for me, I loved it. Everybody had great performances.
There we go.
Music was great. My guy Michael Giacchino, I love all of his stuff. He did The Incredibles, the Star Trek. He's fantastic with all the stuff that he writes. And so for me, one of my favorite positives for this movie is I love that they decided to go with an inexperienced Batman. He's 2 years into it. He clearly is not even worried about trying to pretend to put on his Bruce Wayne mask. He's Alfred's like, hey man, you need to meet with the accountants and keep up with your company and all that stuff. And he's just like, nah, I'm about to be back in these streets.
Yeah. Much more.
So I love that. And it definitely set it, that's the first time they've done that in a Batman film. And I think it was refreshing. It was nice. And it fits the casting of Edward Cullen. Robert Pattinson, just because, he can clearly play that disturbed,
and mentally damaged Bruce Wayne.
Emotionally damaged, yeah. And
that was great because, like, you see, so we're always used to seeing this charismatic, just jolly ladies' man, Bruce Wayne, right? Everybody loves him, but he's completely damaged. He's disturbed, and his personality ends up blending into the Batman persona, and it's like they're like the same, right? Which we never see that. We always see this side of Bruce, and then we see Batman. And I love that about it. And I also love that we don't have that stupid voice.
Well, I felt like he had a little bit. No. It wasn't as deep as growling. It wasn't.
And nothing against Dark Knight with that, but as you know, it's been parodied, right? Everybody makes fun of it. I like that the voice it's different, but it doesn't have to be.
No,
like you didn't have to do that.
Against it. That is something I would put against the Dark Knight series.
You would put
well, because it's just like at times it makes it also like just difficult to even understand. I'm like, I get the purpose.
Subtitles. Well, that's Nolan in general. I need the subtitles.
And that's why I said I'm like, I gotta ding it for it. But yeah, you're right.
All right. There's our two strikes against the Nolan films. Y'all remember we're a pro Christopher Nolan podcast. That man cannot do any wrong.
Insert shameless plug from Trevor for Interstellar.
Interstellar's the greatest film ever. Looking at. But dude, look, the eye makeup too, though. Like why hasn't anybody thought about doing that? Because I can't think if it's Batman and Robin or if it was Batman Forever, where you could see the eye makeup like through the mask. But then, like, when they do another camera shot, the eye makeup disappears. Oh, it was Batman Returns. That's it, because he pulls off his mask and then, like, the eye makeup is gone. So, because they wanted you to see his face. And I was like, it was good to see that they put the eye makeup there. Like, it makes sense because you're trying to cover your identity. Yeah, like, I don't know why they didn't think to do that. Like, that was smart.
Well, I was going to say, man, like, Paul Dano's Riddler to me is just phenomenal. Like, Paul Dano did a really good job with that. I'm always a fan of like of characters that are written to be like highly intelligent and such, but more so I like the fact that like with the Riddler himself is highly intelligent, but I like mostly how we didn't get like he was legit creepy, like that little he was wearing almost like this green trash bag like the whole time through, which I was like, this is spooky, but I was like, this seems a little more real. He seems a little more reclusive. Like he would be like he fits the mold of what we would say an unhinged serial killer would be like, right? According to like the way we studied him, he seems like very reclusive individual. My man even makes a statement about having followers, and when I'm realizing, like when they show the screen and he only has like 500, I was like, yeah, that's legit.
Well, I was reading the messages on the side too. I was like, oh,
I was too. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but Donna, like Paul Dano does like a great job with the role. Period. Like,
oh yeah, he was weird in Prisoners, and he was weird in this. Like he's good at
low key. It was like the same role. It felt like
he's gonna mess around and be typecast like Jared Leto. He keep doing that. Look,
yeah, man,
nah, it was cool, man.
That was
like
super good,
bro. We also got to shout out Jeffrey Wright. He was,
man.
Yeah, great. He was great.
Can we just say he's the best Gordon? Can we say that right now?
I don't know, man.
I agree with
Gary,
that. Yeah,
I like Gary Oldman though. I do like Gary Oldman.
No,
Gary Oldman did his thing too, but this one,
because you could see the chemistry between him and Batman. It was like you really could see that they were on the same page. And one of my favorite scenes when they bring Batman to jail and they're having that conversation to each other, and it's making it look like Gordon is getting on his case, but he's really just letting them know, like, all right, punch me, and then the key's in there, get out.
Yeah.
Like they're just like they got that bond, right? Which is true to the comics, and we're able to see that. So they've been tight like this since year 2. So actually, since year 1, really. So it's just it's good to see that.
Like, so it feels it is really cool to see that like they play up the friendship a little bit better. Like you can tell that this is they are personally close in this movie compared to the others.
Yeah.
So I can give you that, but I don't know. I still like the way Oldman played his too. So I'd say they're equal.
No, Oldman was cool too. He was. It was like this one. This Gordon just seemed more intense.
Yeah.
More intense. Yeah. I like that about it. I
definitely feel like you can feel that he's 10 toes into this at this point. Like,
yeah, for sure.
He's taking all the risk. I'd also say, you know what? Like, because I haven't heard y'all bring this up, but that Batmobile though.
Yeah,
Batmobile was fire.
It starts and you just hear the growling of it. I was
but when I asked y'all after the movie was over, I was like, "But what about that scene?" No, you were like, "Eh."
Yeah, the scene was just okay.
Yeah,
you know, again, if you think back to Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, all those, there was enough explosions, there were action. It was action packed. It was great. This one, it was just speeding through traffic.
Yeah, yeah. It was a little lackluster until that ending portion. Of it, which was fun.
Until the ending portion, and you get that great shot. Not the shot of us watching the Penguin spin around as his car is flipping, but as he's sitting there and he watches the Batman pull up and then get out and walk.
No, that's a negative for Isaiah, because Isaiah thought that probably could have been cut a little bit, huh? Didn't you say that? Did he pull a Snyder on that? Did he pull a Snyder? Part. Okay, all right.
There's a couple.
He was doing Justice League.
We ready to get into negatives?
No, we're not ready yet. No.
Oh no, it's
because I still have one more positive.
Hold on, bro. We also got to acknowledge that this felt like it had vibes of like Seven and Zodiac, right? Like it was a true mystery, and we got to see. We already knew that Batman was intelligent, but we really got to see how much of a detective he was in this. And how he was able to
the world's greatest detective.
Yes. Yeah. How he was able to.
I don't know how Perot would think about that, but
but like
because like the audience doesn't know how Perot would feel about it either. They ain't gonna see that like
Yeah, but remember, like he was kind of doing a detective thing with Dark Knight as well, but it wasn't like this. This was very hands-on, very methodical. And just like the way he was able to just solve these riddles like that. And they look to Batman too, like, what is it, right? Like Gordon's asking him. And another thing I like is like the cops and Batman are not on the same page. They don't rock with him at all. Like I was glad to see like this vigilante, like we don't mess with him. Like, what is he doing in this room? Like, I like to see that because it's like he's here to protect and serve, but y'all won't even like welcome him, right? So I like to see that conflict. But
I'll go also play
cool.
up. I was also going to just play up since we're talking about it. I thought the chemistry between Kravitz and Pattinson was really good though. Really good throughout. I could actually watch. Like I would watch another film still based around just the two of them. It worked out really well.
Man, they're gonna mess around and make a Selena Kyle like just movie probably, bro.
Hey, I'd probably go watch it.
I would get down with that. Like if it's Zoe, I'll get down with that because like in this movie, she was sexy, she was edgy. I even liked her little struggle mask that she created. Like it wasn't like the I'm gonna call that the struggle mask because that wasn't no real Catwoman mask. But that makes it feel real. Like that's what you would do. Like if you're gonna make a mask, like it reminded me of Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which I tell y'all is a masterpiece. So y'all better get y'all's mind right if you don't acknowledge that. People leave comments and let us know.
It is a great movie. We told you it's a good movie for its time.
Yeah, but like remember like the mask that he put on. Isaiah, you just watched it earlier this week. So remember the mask he put on in the beginning, like when he was trying to present himself as Batman? It kind of reminded me of that for Catwoman with her mask. Yeah, like I like that. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Matt Reeves, you could tell is a fan. Like he knows what he's doing. Like that was dope. Yeah. It was cool.
I love the little throwback he did to the to old Penguin and the way that he walks when he puts him in the cuffs and he started waddling back. I was like, all right, I like that. I was like, it's a good way to put it in and it not seem too over the top. Like I was like, that was cool. Yeah.
Bro, during the movie, you remember I was tapping you, I was like, hey, you know, it's the score for this movie, the music. Wasn't it like the same music as Batman Returns? It's like it was very similar to Batman Returns. And I love that about it. Yeah. I love that it was very similar.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that in the thing, and I was like, yeah, I hadn't quite placed where they drew that inspiration, but then I saw it, I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Batman Returns, straight up, bro. And you also notice how majority of the film takes place at night. You notice that as well. Like it's, even when there are some daytime scenes, it still feels kind of dark, even though it's day, right? Like it just doesn't, I like that.
And I think that was all to really help drive home the fact that Gotham is not the best of the best. It is.
Gotham is terrible.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
Gotham, the ghetto.
I saw it
Gotham
on Twitter.
Gotham
is awful.
On Twitter, somebody was like, man, why is it always raining over there? Like, why is it always raining in Gotham? They got nothing going on but rain.
Yeah, bro. Gotham is crazy, man. Yeah, I like that fact. And like I said, man, the cast was just brilliant, like just great. Everybody did a great job. Everybody.
I love the design of the film. And I'm talking like from character design, the Batmobile. I love the bat suit, everything. Just how everybody. Oh, and John Turturro. Let's highlight him too. Man, he played a great Falcone. His swag was there.
Yeah.
No, he was doing.
I mean, he's been playing a gangster for so long. Like, Spike them.
So basically, they just called him and like, "Hey, John, come do what you usually do."
Look, Spike them, groomed him up, man. Look, he's a solid gangster, bro. Like he's solid at that. Also, bro, Bruce Wayne's family. I like how Batman had to deal with that conflict of learning his dad's mistakes, like learning from Falcone. That was really good.
Yeah, just overall, the entire storyline, the way they wrote that out. Again, we've already mentioned before, but Reeves definitely made sure to incorporate the elements that, like, it felt like watching a comic book, like reading a comic book, because they went into the different layers that they needed to. Like, generally a movie would have probably shot, and that movie would have shot with probably the surface level just being, hey, Thomas Wayne was trying to cover up something, and that was it. But to dig into the other pieces of it, to, you know, Martha's past with, you know, violence in the house and how she's had, I was like, yeah, this is definitely like comic-esque. So yeah, the storyline for the movie is just really good.
For sure. What else y'all got for positives? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking.
So let's get into these negatives. Kev, I think we're all in agreement that the length of this film, a little too long.
That's ultimately, and y'all know I'm a diehard Batman fan, man. I felt the length in this movie, right, and I was entertained the entire time. But there are certain points in the movie where I thought it was going to end, and it didn't end, and it kept going. And so I was like, dang. And when I'm watching a movie, I don't like to look at my phone or look at my watch and see what's up. But I'm like, I look for a second because I'm like, wait a second, how much? Okay, it's got to be wrapping up soon. Yeah. But it's really just the length for me. Yeah. I don't know what you would cut necessarily. I think that there's things that you could probably speed up, right? Like, maybe when we first see Batman fighting those guys in the beginning, near the train, maybe the guys with the painted face, maybe that could have been sped up some. I don't know. Like certain things could be sped up a little bit and not spend so much time with it. Even just small details like Batman walking when Penguin is flipped over in his car. He kind of pulled the Snyder deal because Isaiah, you're the one who mentioned it. last night we were talking, like you felt like that scene went longer than it should have.
Yeah, so, I was just like overall, like, well, kind of like to your point, like overall, I told y'all when I walked out, I was like, you did feel every bit of the length of it. Like, yeah, I had moments too where I think you thought it was climaxed and then it still had another level to go up. So yeah, it did that, but it's odd too, along that same line. I don't know for sure if it was too long, like, because it didn't feel badly paced either, if that makes sense. Just
well, a lot of people are going to disagree. A lot of people are going to disagree with you on that.
Oh, they can say that, but again, based on the style in which they shot it, with that kind of suspense, almost mystery feel, I felt like it made itself. It kind of made sense at that length. But yes, is there stuff that can be cut? Of course. I think there are just some shots that, like, I think I told Trevor in the end of the movie while we were sitting there, after the conversation happens with Selena and Batman, I'm like, we don't need to see them ride off into the distance together. Like,
no, going separate ways, just to show them going separate ways, ways.
All that with you riding together, just so we can, like, we get a whole minute and a half, so y'all can stop and turn. I was like, nah.
Just to have them look in his rear view. She leaving. She leaving.
Yeah, we just don't do that. So little things like that, and then like you said, though, there are some shots that are just longer than they needed to be.
So Matt Reeves pulled a Snyder, basically. He pulled a Snyder.
You know how I felt about Justice League Snyder Cut?
Yeah, he pulled a Snyder on this, and it's an origin movie, and that's fine. I mean, I don't think it dragged out. It just, some things could have just been cut it a little bit, snip it. That's my biggest thing, man. I also wanted a little bit more Penguin as well. I really enjoyed seeing Penguin on the screen. I understand he's not the main focus, but man, you want to see a little bit more of him, you know? So if I'm not going to see as much of him like I saw, then he really needs to be part 2. And I think he's going to be, just based on how it ends with that last shot of him looking out to the distance. Like, I think that's...
Well, they even hint at it, right? The idea that there's going to be a power struggle coming up pretty soon amongst, you know, Gotham. Now that Falcone's out the way, someone's going to go for it. And he was the one clearly in the position to do so. So I think he will play a bigger role going forward.
Yeah.
In the next few.
Yeah, he was good.
I also was gonna say there's a couple moments with some CGI that I thought was like a little obvious, just a little.
I didn't
like it. It didn't blend as well as I'd hoped.
I didn't see that.
What when he's dangling from the side of the little Jumbotron thing, I was like,
wait, are you talking about the last act of the movie?
In the last act, there's
the last act of the movie, let's just be honest, it starts to get a little sloppy at times. Period.
I mean, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that, like, to
just
me,
just a little bit.
To me, the CGI there was just a little rougher. That's all I'm stating.
Just a little bit. Well, I think it's hard to end this movie. I think Matt Reeves had a tougher time trying to figure out how to end it. And I think that last, when the water comes in and has to fight those guys, all the look-alike Riddlers. Yeah. I think he was trying to figure, all right, where am I going to go from here? Or how am I going to do this? Right. I don't know. I just feel like as far as last acts go and action, I don't know. How do y'all feel about it? Like, do you feel like it's just as good as Dark Knight Rises, just as good as Dark Knight, just as good as Batman Begins? Because I'm like, I don't know about that. Because that last act is where I put the question mark.
So for that last act, as far as the action and actually, like, you know, being the ending, which is supposed to be big, I don't think it hit there, but I do think that it hit that for the for Batman's development. Right, he learns that when they have that scene where the guy, one of the Riddler lookalikes, tells him, "I am vengeance." You know,
oh, that was good. That was like, great.
Oh, that's what I've been rolling around saying. He's like,
that's
okay,
great.
I've been teaching. So for that, I thought that was really strong. And I think that rivaled. That's why I think the ending of The Dark Knight is so good, because he has that great speech when he talks about what the city needs and becoming a hero and a villain and all that stuff. And so that was that moment was nice, but the action was a little lacking, just not as epic as you would expect.
No, it wasn't. Like, it was, I had more fun with, I guess, like the club scenes where he was fighting people.
Yeah.
And even
in the police station.
And also when he's when it's dark and all you can see is the bullets as far as lighting the room up. I like that scene a lot too.
Well, I was gonna say this too, along with that same idea. It is underwhelming compared to like Nolan. Nolan's got big explosions. He's got lots of things happening as these fights go on, right?
Right.
But I also felt like on a positive to that, it also feels very real, like very real. The violence in this feels very realistic too. It's not an overly done amount of explosions and other things that just we're used to being entertained by in an action movie, right? And I think that goes to what Trevor's point was. I think it was meant to just see, this is more about character build than that, than anything else. Just as a side piece to that, I would say. But that's just a side note. My fault. I didn't mean to throw y'all off. You had
you're good.
Question. You were good. My bad.
No, you're good. I just, just for me, it's kind of that last act. It was kind of just, I'm like, if we're to this point, we're like 2 hours and 40 minutes. If I'm at 2 hours and 40 minutes, then I need to see boom. And
you want to really
crazy, some crazy combat, right? And it just kind of was like, but that piece that you mentioned, I Am Vengeance, that was important, but it could have been done differently.
It could have been done earlier. We could have cut out some things
earlier, right? Or earlier, exactly, right. So that's my only thing. Yeah. But
so
I still think it's an A film. I mean, if we talk about ourselves now, I mean, I would give it a 90% straight up, 90 to 92%. Yeah, 90%. Okay. And what do you give it, Trev? What do you give it?
94.
94. Okay. What do you give it?
Yeah.
What do you give it?
I was gonna say 93 today.
93. Yeah. Okay.
When I left out there yesterday, I had to think on it some more, but 93.
I'm at a 90% right now. And it's really for me, man. I'm thinking about rewatchability, right? Like I was texting y'all about that, and I told you, look, bro, we grown, man. Like 3 hours, you have to schedule and pencil in time to watch 3 hours these days. And so that's why I asked you. I said, how many times have you rewatched Batman vs Superman? Because that is a 3 hours and some change film. If we were talking about the extended cut. And I love Batman vs Superman. I don't care what people say. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. The extended cut.
Yeah, the extended one is like right at 3 hours. The other one was like still borderline, and it was like 2:45 or something like that.
Right, and people hated it. It was too long for people, and I don't know. People didn't like it.
Well, I think it's like I told you. I think it's like I told you. For a 3 hour movie like this one, I think for this one, the reason I can give it rewatchability, anything that you really like, you like if you're. All of us have to plan a 3 hour movie, 3 hour plus movie, right? But if it's one that you really like, that's the one you're going to go to. I know I would go to this one before even I go to Endgame. And I know how people feel about Endgame.
Yeah.
More power to you. For me, it didn't do the things that I wanted it to do. So it's not a bad movie by any means.
Anybody that follows us from Reddit is about to tear us to shreds.
Oh, y'all
what you just said on Endgame.
Y'all know what my name is.
You can't talk bad about MCU. I crap on MCU all the time, but I ain't about to say it on here though.
Y'all know what my name is. At me in the comments, and I'll come back. I'll come speak to you. We can have a dialogue in the comments.
Yeah, my score may go up though. I'm gonna watch it a second time, man. Probably next week. I'm gonna go see it again. I was very excited for it. It met my expectations. Robert Pattinson did a great job. So y'all need to stop hating on the Edward deal and let people watch the movie. It's like I told you with Last Duel. Just watch the movie first.
Don't act like you ain't never. Don't act like you ain't never seen that this person got cast ahead of time and be like,
"Oh man, trust me." No, I was one of those people. Like when I first got the trailer that y'all sent me, I was like, "Robert Pattinson, get the heck out of here." But when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh."
The trailer healed a lot of things for me, but when I read about it, I was like,
"Yeah."
Call Ben back and apologize and give Affleck that job.
Yeah, solid movie, man. Love it.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Good movie. Good movie.
Well,
hold on before we get off? Are you ready to say that this is better than any of the Nolan ones at all?
I think it's comparable.
Comparable? Okay.
You can definitely. I wouldn't get mad at you if you said that either one of those was better.
Because all I wanted was for it to be just as good as Batman Begins or close. And to me, it's just as good. I'm not ready to say it's better yet. I'm going to watch it a second time, but it's just as good for sure. Like they're just as good, 100%.
Yeah, they're definitely comparable, but I think it's going to be very hard to directly compare them. They're two
It's
different
200%.
stills and films and all that stuff.
That's true.
I think it's easier to compare the Nolan films to the earlier Batman films because they were both kind of trying to do the same thing. This one, Matt Reeves is clearly in his own lane. You know, it felt like we were watching an extended episode of the animated series. Yeah. So I'll put that up there, though, to answer your question. I'll put it up there with the Nolan films for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on the day, I might say this one was better. No, okay. Y'all know me.
Okay.
I love this film.
Because I thought you were going to say it's better than Dark Knight Rises, because I know you got some problem with Rises. You got a couple problems with
Rises, and that's because there wasn't enough Batman. But
you got a whole lot of Batman in this.
I was gonna say, they did not shy away. He was in this all the way through.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you're a comic book fan and a Batman fan, people argue that Batman is Bruce Wayne's true persona. Bruce Wayne is just the mask that he wears, but he's really Batman is who he calls himself, and that's who he really is. But let's wrap this thing up. We don't need to keep rambling about this.
Hey, y'all, let us know what you think. Leave a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already. If you haven't seen this movie, make sure you check it out. I don't think we did too many spoilers in this video. But hey, let us know what you think, and we appreciate you tuning in. Take it easy. Go see it. Batman.